Hi, everybody. Welcome back to RVAsec 2022. Now, this is a different interview with Mr. Peter. He's also a speaker here at RVAsec, and I want to make sure we understand that from the beginning so you don't think you're watching the same video, because you're not. Mr. Peter, welcome back.
Thank you.
Tell us about your speech you just gave.
Yeah, so the talk I just gave is about threat intelligence or intelligence in general, and is it actionable in 2022?
Oh.
From a high level.
That's not a rhetorical question.
No. It's not a rhetorical question. But the gimmick is that all intelligence is actionable. Intelligence is actionable. Data may not be actionable.
Oh, they're distinguished. I didn't think about that.
Absolutely. There's a formalized practice of really turning data into intelligence.
Okay.
And data may not be actionable, and it's a really hard problem to solve. If people collect all the data on the internet, how are you going to extract the things that matter to you, that are a threat to you?
Okay.
Right. So for a threat intelligence vendor like Flashpoint, for example, it's a really hard problem to solve. If you're a card issuer, for example, you know what your profile is. You know what you're looking for across the internet to mitigate threats. But as a threat intelligence vendor, we have to be able to provide intelligence to all sorts of vendor, retail, aerospace, everything. And it's a really hard problem to solve. So the question is it actionable? And I'd argue that all intelligence, real intelligence, is in fact actionable.
All right, now, I'm going to be devil's advocate here for you.
Go for it.
So as you mentioned all these vertical markets, which is great. Now, each vertical market is going to have an interpretation. Let's say I gave all 5 vertical markets the same data. They're going to interpret it differently, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Based on their business.
Absolutely.
How do we handle that?
Right. So that is handled by the business in and of itself.
Okay.
While all those 5 vertical markets may have that same data, they are.
I meant to say intelligence. The same intelligence.
Same intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me back up. I was answering on the data side.
Right.
All right. So you give them all the same intelligence. That doesn't mean all their tech stacks are exactly the same, and maybe they're solving different problems.
Oh. So with the same threat intelligence.
With the same exact threat intelligence. So one example is vulnerability intelligence. No matter which vertical you're in, I'm going to assume that you're running software. True,
yeah, that's
right?
true.
And I'm going to assume that maybe you have accounts, like a username and password.
Yeah, you better. You're not in business. Yeah,
absolutely. So the intelligence that we give to all these verticals can help remediate account takeover, and it can help remediate vulnerability, or can help inform vulnerability teams to remediate threats across their ecosystem faster. Now, the same intelligent report might have multiple pieces of software that need remediation, and not all 5 of those vendors have that same piece of software.
Okay. Now, let me go back to the data. I'm going to frame this better.
Go for it.
So, if we're going to translate data into actionable threat intelligence, what's our standard? It could be subjective, it could be objective. That's a tricky part, isn't it?
Absolutely. So if you're coming from the physical public sector world, intelligence is incredibly well defined, and you're probably dealing with written reports that we call finished intelligence.
Okay.
And these finished reports are then put up the chain to help inform decision making. So if you translate that to a digital context, it's very much the same. So we do have people writing reports, finished intelligence reports, that have technical data in them that are also floated up the chain. A CISO can read this report and on a high level understand their attack surface. But at the same time, every report that we publish, for example, you can get through our API, and you can pull out those nuggets of technical information, and you can put it into your firewall, you can put it into your vulnerability program. So when we disseminate this information, it's not only consumable by a human to read it to understand the attack surface, it's also consumable by the appliances, tools, and teams within your company that can help action that data. And that's the important piece. We have to be able to action that data.
What's the threshold that converts data to actionable intelligence? Is there, a formula for it? Is it subjective based upon the guy that's looking at it? I mean, there's so much data.
There's a lot of data.
You could argue that everything's a threat, which is ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, so one example I give is a threat actor posting in a forum, hi, HI, just a hello. Is that actionable to you? I'm gonna say to most organizations, without any other context, that is very difficult to action. But if we zoom out and we see the larger conversation, hi, I'm looking for an exploit. Can somebody help me craft this exploit for the CVE?
Yeah.
So it's there is no exact formula, but we know what we're looking for. right?
Okay.
Because the environments that we're trying to secure, we have very talented teams and practitioners from these environments, and we know what these teams are trying to solve. Everyone has a firewall. Everyone has an endpoint solution.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
There are regulatory things that you have to have when handling PII that we know how to take action on. We know how to inform to take action
So
on.
those components kind of define the threshold and the threat.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
It's not only a tech. The soft stuff matters too.
Right.
For example, threat actors like to boast. Look at this fake check that I made, and I'm going to go cash. Well, if I'm a bank and my bank's logo is on that check, and then maybe they're showing part of the account number on that check, I can prevent that check from being cashed before that threat actor gets to the bank.
This is cool stuff.
It's awesome. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. Yeah.
All right. I bet you everybody loved that lecture.
I did. Yeah. I'm always excited to give it. Absolutely.
Excellent. Mr. Peter, good to see you again, my friend.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
Flashpoint.io. Check them out. And back in a minute here at RVAsec 2022.
Thanks, everybody.